Welcome to the basic grammar guide for English speakers learning the Arabic language. It's very brief and it can be used as a quick reference guide, really. And it'll give you everything that you need to know to get you started. So let's start. Bismillah. We have the pronouns. The pronouns here, we have ana, which is I, anta, which is you, singular male, anti, which is you, singular female, huwa, which is he, hiya, which is she. So these are the singular ones, and you notice that all of these pronouns here are unattached. They're not attached to words, which we are going to look at after, inshallah. Then we have the duals, because in Arabic, we don't just have singular and plural, we also have dual. So we have singular, which is one, we have dual, which is two, and then we have plural, which is basically three and above. So here we have antuma, which is you, dual male or dual female. This is used for both, speaking to two males or two females. Huma, which is they, dual male or dual female, same thing, can be used for both male and female. And now here we have the plural ones. So we have antum, which is you, plural male, antunna, which is you, plural female, hum, which is they, plural male, hunna, which is they, plural female, and then we have nahnu, which is we. So these pronouns here, very important to get down in the beginning, inshallah. After that, we have the difference between what we say is indefinite and definite, or nakira and ma'rifah in the Arabic language. Indefinite looks like this. So usually nouns end in a dhamma tanween. That's the easiest way to think about it for now. Usually, 9 times out of 10, nouns will end in a dhamma tanween. So kitabun, and this means that it's indefinite, meaning a book. It's not specified, it's just a book. If we said al-kitabu, this now means the book. Now it's what we call ma'rifah, it's definite. Because we've added alif and lam. So the alif and lam at the beginning of a noun means the. If we look what happens to the end of the word, it loses the tanween. So kitabun becomes al-kitabu. Kitabun, a book, or a book, becomes al-kitabu, the book. This is important because the same thing happens when we start to add pronouns onto nouns. So these are now attached pronouns. The ones at the top were unattached, when they're just on their own. Okay? These here are attached to the ends of words. So we have kitabi, my book. This here is more the exception than the rest. Because if you notice the rest, we'll say kitabu, then something. Kitabu, something. Kitabu, something. This is kitabi. So, what happens when we add the pronoun onto the word is that the word also loses the tanween, just like it does when you add the alif and lam. Kitabun becomes al-kitabu. Just like kitabun would become kitabu ka, your book, singular male. The only exception is the ya, because this ya mad basically forces the letter before it to take the kasrah. So it's kitabi, my book. Here, your book, we have kitabuka, your book, singular male. Kitabuki, your book, singular female. Kitabuhu, his book. Kitabuha, her book. Then we have kitabukuma, your book, dual male and dual female. Kitabuhuma, their book, dual male and dual female. And then we have the plural ones. Kitabukum, your book, plural male. Kitabukunna, your book, plural female. Kitabuhum, their book, plural male. Kitabuhunna, their book, plural female. And kitabuna, our book. So these are very important. Pronouns are very important. Unattached and attached. So here we've covered the unattached pronouns. We've covered how to add the word the to a noun. And we've also covered how to add the attached pronouns to the endings of words to indicate possession, basically. So your book, my book, his book, her book, that kind of thing. So now we have something that we call mudaf ilay, which is associating words together, and it can also indicate towards possession as well. Not always, but it's quite often that it has this meaning. So we have kitabun again, which is just book. Then we have at-talibu, which is the student. So talibun would be a student. At-talibu, which is the student. Okay. If we wanted to say the student's book, we say كتاب الطالب. So you're associating the book to the student. كتاب now loses the tanween and it becomes كتاب. الطالب now takes kasra. It becomes الطالب. So كتاب الطالب. كتاب الطالب. The student's book. This is what we call مضاف مضاف إليه. To associate words together like that. Often to indicate towards possession, just like these attached pronouns do at the end of a word. Okay? So we can say كتابه, which would be his book. Or we could say كتاب الطالب, which would be the student's book. Let's move on. We have بيت, which is house. We have كبير, which is big. Here we have البيت كبير. So we're describing the house as being big. We're saying the house, البيت. So بيت has now become البيت. The house is كبير. There isn't no word for is really in the Arabic language. It's just, from our point of view, it's there, right? البيت كبير. The house is big. If we wanted to say the big house, then this is something we call na'at man'ut. And we have to match it in certain things. We're not going into too much detail on this one, but just look at the obvious, right? Alif and lam, alif and lam. One dhamma, one dhamma. Male and male, right? To make a word female, or to show that a word is female, usually, again, this is not a hard and fast rule, but 9 times out of 10, it will have a ta madbuta at the end. So this word here, qahwa, coffee, is female. Okay? Here, bayt would be male, because there's no ta madbuta. That's a very basic, simple way to distinguish between male and female words, because in Arabic, things can be male and female as well. So here, it matches in it being definite with the alif and lam. It matches in its ending, its haraka, the one dhamma, and it matches in its gender. There is something else as well, but we're going to ignore this for now. So we have al-baytu al-kabiru, the big house. That's the difference between saying the house is big and the big house. Al-baytu kabirun, the house is big. That's a full sentence there. And then saying al-baytu al-kabiru, the big house. And this is obviously not a full sentence. We need more from this, right? We're saying this is where you're describing it straight off the bat. You're saying the big house, then you got to say something else, right? Here we have qahwa, which is coffee, or qahwatun. Then we have sakhinun, which is a descriptive word here, an adjective, which is hot. If you want to say the coffee is hot, we say al-qahwatu sakhinatun. So we've said that qahwatun becomes al-qahwatu, because we're saying the coffee. Sakhinun becomes sakhinatun. When we're describing something, we have to match its gender as well. Not just in na'at man'ut, but just in general. When we're describing something, we match it with its gender. So, qahwa is female, has a ta marbuta. So the word that we're describing it with, sakhin, which is hot, we have to make female as well. Sakhinatun. Okay? Al-qahwatu sakhinatun. The coffee is hot. Here we have the same structure as this one here, the na'at man'ut. We want to say the hot coffee. We want to describe it straight off the bat. We're not saying the coffee is hot, we're saying the hot coffee. So we match it in what we said before, alif and lam, alif and lam. The ending is the same, one dhamma, one dhamma. The gender is now the same, ta marbuta, to make it female. So we say al-qahwatu as-sakhinatu. Al-qahwatu as-sakhinatu, the hot coffee. Okay, this is what we call na'at man'ut. Okay, that's nouns, pretty much. You have unattached pronouns, you have attached pronouns, you have adding the word the, al, onto a noun. We have the mudaf ilay structure, associating them together, oftentimes to show possession as well. And then we have describing words, and then na'at man'ut, describing them straight off the bat, like saying the big house and the hot coffee. Okay, now let's go into some verbs. This here is what you call the tasrif. The tasrif. And you usually find it like this. You'll have al-madi, al-mudari', al-amr, al-masdar. Al-ma'na means the meaning, just so you know, right? So al-madi is the past tense verb. Al-mudari' is the present tense verb. Al-amr is the command form. I think in English grammar, I think you call it the imperative, I think. But the command form to tell someone to do this verb. And then al-masdar is what I think they call is the verbal noun. It's technically not a verb, it's actually a noun, but it carries the meaning of the verb, which we'll see, right? So, ذهب means he went. This is the verb to go, right? ذهب, he went. So you'll usually find it like this. The past tense, the most simple form is the male third person, he. Same with the present tense as well. So ذهب, he went. يذهب, he's going or he goes. In Arabic, the present tense can carry two meanings. It just depends on the context. It can be the present continuous with the ing sound or the ing ending, like writing, drinking, going, that kind of thing. Or the what they call the simple present, which is just the like a habit or a fact. Yeah, so you could say I go to school every day. I drink coffee. You don't have to say I am going to school right now. I am drinking coffee right now, even though the same verb would be used. It just depends on the context. So we have he went, he is going. اذهب is the command verb, meaning go. And this will always be speaking to a singular male because this is the most simple form as well. In the tasrif, they use the most simple forms of the verbs in the past, the present, and the command, which they will change when you're speaking about different people, whether it's she, you, that kind of thing. And then dhahab is just going. It's the act of going, and it's not attached to any kind of tense or gender and that kind of thing, right? It's not conjugated to mean he, she, you, that kind of thing. So you've got dhahaba, he went. Yadhabu, he goes or he is going. Idhab, go. Dhahab, going. Right. These are the verb conjugations. Very important. Once you get these conjugations down, it just opens up the language for you massively, inshallah. So we have dhahabtu, I went. Dhahabta, you went, singular male. Dhahabti, you went, singular female. Dhahaba, he went. See, that's the most simple form there. Got nothing attached to it. Dhahabat, she went. And this works with all of the verbs in general. All these endings will mean like I, you, he, she. You just end the verbs like this. Dhahabtuma means you went, dual male or dual female. Dhahaba, they went, dual male. Dhahabata, they went, dual female. Then we have dhahabtum, you went, plural male. Dhahabtunna, you went. This should be plural female, not singular female. Plural female. Dhahabtunna. Dhahabu, they went, plural male. Dhahabna, they went, plural female. And then you've got dhahabna, which is we went, obviously plural, we went, dhahabna. This is all the past tense. Then we have the present tense. We have adhabu, I go. So to say I, we start with a hamza. Tadhabu, you go, singular male. Start with a ta. Tadhabina, you go, singular female. We start with a ta, end it with a ina. All these patterns are going to be the same. This is what you're going to have to pick up, inshallah. Yadhabu, he goes. Tadhabu, she goes. This tadhabu, look, has two meanings. It could be tadhabu, could be you go, singular male, or tadhabu could be she goes. So when you start a present tense verb with a ta and don't put anything on the end of it, it can have two possible meanings, just depends on the context. It could be you, singular male, or she, third person. Here we have tadhabani, you go, dual male or dual female. Yadhabani, they go, dual male. And tadhabani, they go, dual female. And again, look, tadhabani, tadhabani. This has three possible meanings. It could mean you go, speaking to dual males. It could mean you go, speaking to dual females. Or it could mean they go, speaking about dual females. Here we have tadhabuna, you go, plural male. Tadhabna, you go, plural female. Yadhabuna, they go, plural male. Yadhabna, they go, plural female. Nadhabu, we go. That was the present. Now we have the command. We have idhab, go, singular male. Idhabi, go, singular female. Idhaba, go, dual male or dual female. Idhabu, go, plural male. Idhabna, go, plural female. Okay. Here we have the singular, the dual, and the plural, because we're going to start putting these with some verbs and see what happens. So, talib is the singular, that's a student. To make it a dual, we add either ani or aini to the end. It depends on the grammar, we're not going to get into that right now. You will either find it as talibani or talibaini. And then the plural here is tullab, which we call a broken plural. But again, we're not going to get into that either. There's different types of plurals. Some have different endings and some the word completely changes, which is like this one. So you've got talib, a student, talibani or talibaini, which is two students. And then you've got tullab, which is students. Okay. If we say at-talib yaktubu ad-dars, this means the student is writing the lesson. You've got at-talib, the student, yaktubu is writing. The ya here means he. It's going back to talib. Ad-dars is the lesson. So the student is writing the lesson. If we say at-talibani, now we have to say yaktubani. You've got to conjugate it now to mean dual males, right? At-talibani yaktubani ad-dars. So the two students are writing the lesson. If we say at-tullab, which is the plural now, so the students, we have to say yaktubuna ad-dars. The students are writing the lesson. So if we start with the noun, then we have to conjugate the verb to match it basically. Yeah? So if it's singular, singular, dual, dual, plural, plural, and the gender and whatnot. However, in Arabic, you can start with the verb. It doesn't really make a difference. So we have yaktubu at-talibu ad-darsa. This means the same thing. The student is writing the lesson. The student is writing the lesson. Here we started with the noun at-talib yaktubu ad-dars, which is what we would say in English. In our sentences, they're all like nominal sentences. They start with nouns. Whereas in Arabic, you can get verbal sentences as well. You could say yaktubu at-talib ad-darsa. The student is writing the lesson. It means the same thing. Here we have, it's a typical verbal sentence. You call it the fi'l, the fa'il, and the maf'ul bihi. So the fi'l is the verb. The fa'il is the one doing the verb, and this is usually with a dhamma. That's the easiest way to explain it right now. And the maf'ul bihi is the thing the verb is being done upon, and that will usually take fatha. Again, that's like 90% of the time, but there is exceptions. So we say yaktubu at-talibu ad-darsa. So the student is writing the lesson. The difference between starting with the verb and starting with the noun is that if we start with the verb, then we keep it singular, even if the doer of the verb is dual or plural. So we say yaktubu at-talibani ad-dars. The two students are writing the lesson. Yaktubu at-tullab ad-dars. The students are writing the lesson. Here we have dual and plural, but we've kept the verb singular. So if we start with the verb, we keep it singular. And I usually advise people to, if they're ever going to like construct their own sentences, just start with the verb, because it makes your life a lot easier in the beginning, because you don't have to conjugate it into duals and plurals like here. At-talibani yaktubani, at-tullab yaktubuna, stuff like that, okay? So you will find sentence structures like that as well. Last and final thing here in this brief little guide is the masdar. So the masdar is the fourth thing in the tasrif that we mentioned. We said the past, the present, the command, and the masdar, which is the verbal noun. And it works like this. You could say qira'atul kutub mufida. So reading books is beneficial. This is the mudaf ilay structure here. So we've associated it together. So like the reading of books basically. قراءة الكتب مفيدة. قراءة الكتب مفيدة. Reading books is beneficial. You can use it like that. You can also use it in place of the verb. You could say أحب قراءة الكتب. I love reading books. So you don't have to use the actual verb like أقرأ. You could say قراءة. أحب قراءة الكتب. I love reading books. Like that. That is it for this brief guide. It's more of a quick reference guide, to be honest. I know that was very brief and very quick. It was meant to be. It's just so when you're reading and you're coming across stuff, you can just reference back to it quickly, kind of check what's going on, and hopefully this will help you, inshallah. But it will not take the place of, actual study and actual lessons and, You will need to go deeper than this, but it's a good starting point, I would say. This PDF will be available for you, inshallah. I'll leave a link in the description, and hope you found it helpful. I'll see you in the next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.